Welcome to the city of Hereford. Driving from Ledbury Road by the mill on the Lug, we see Ayleston Hill from both sides of the road, before heading down towards town. The white building in the distance is Ravenhill's Ford dealership. From the bridge at the bottom of Ayleston Hill, we can see the railway lines and the station building in the background. Panning across, we also see Rockfield DIY shop with its distinctive yellow facade. Looking down Commercial Road, we can see Ravenhill's closer. We can also see the Ritzy Cafe on the left with its distinctive curved design, and next to that the cinema, behind which is the country bus station. Now looking from the bus station side of Commercial Road, we see a range of businesses, including restaurants, newsagents and takeaways, before Franklin Barnes comes into view on the corner. Changing sides again, we see the Kerry Arms pub in the distance and pan across the Baptist church, more shops, takeaways and pubs. Next is St Peter's burial ground, where famous Hereford social reformer John Venn is buried. The burial ground is accessed through an arch named after him. Across the road into Union Walk, and a view of the country bus station offices, housed in buildings that were once part of the county jail. Note that two-way traffic was still in operation then. Looking across Blue School Street at the former Bluecoat School building, which for the last few years has housed a nightclub. We then pan across Quickfit to a garage and car dealership premises. At the end of Commercial Street, we see the distinctive black railings and archway that were the pedestrian entrance to the Maylord Street car park, a site that once had cottages on it. Across Commercial Square once more, seeing the former Bluecoat School building from another angle. We're now on the corner of Union Street, with the entrance to Bastion Mews in front of us. We're greeted with an array of building styles, and a view still relatively unchanged. Back into Commercial Street, and we see Chad's with scaffolding attached, plus the boarded up Golding store, which sadly burnt down at the end of the previous year. This also caused smoke damage to several neighbouring buildings. Many long-time residents will recognise familiar business names in Commercial Street, which at the time of filming wasn't pedestrianised. The old cinema building is also recognisable, although it closed and was demolished around the time of filming. Hightown is pedestrianised, although the surrounding streets are not, as traffic can be seen driving through High Street and towards Broad Street. All of the buildings seem to be occupied by businesses, although are clearly not open, suggesting that the filming took place on a Sunday. It would be the 1990s before Sunday trading laws were relaxed. Red kiosk phone boxes are clearly visible outside of the Lloyds Bank building, followed by another look down Commercial Street. We're then in Maylord Street car park and the back of the cinema. There are plenty of spaces available, further suggesting it's a Sunday. We're then onto the Ring Road, the Market Tavern and the Cattle Market all in view. A zoom into the market and a floodlight from the Hereford United ground is also briefly visible. Back into Maylord Street car park again, with evidence of some construction being carried out. close on the spire of St Peter's Church. We turn into Commercial Street from Gaumont Street, all unpedestrianised. The former Tesco store is just visible behind hoardings, although not yet transformed into the city's first McDonald's restaurant. Through the Commercial Street traffic lights, across Commercial Square and into Commercial Road, with Franklin Barnes on our left. Passing the St Peter's Burial Ground and then Arch on our left, we see the former cinema on the right hand side and then Ravenhill's Ford dealership. Over the railway bridge and onto Ayleston Hill. We then turn left into Moorland Avenue, where our journey ends.
We have arrived at last, Kay.
Thanks, Jeff.
How do you know his name?
Well, it's been a very long journey, Alan.
It has been a long journey, and we're in the heart of the city of Hereford, and if you wonder why we've arrived by bus, if you ever tried parking your car in any city centre on the run-up to Christmas, you'll know exactly what I mean. But we are here for our Christmas show.
Anything you can think of to do with Christmas, we've got. Lots of children, the church is lit and ready, food and drink.
You've forgotten the mistletoe.
Ah, well now that's a little surprise for you later on.
A surprise yet to come, but in the meantime, we're going to catch up on the rest of the stories that have been making the news today. Now, what was this business about mistletoe?
I told you, you've got to wait till later on. I'm not telling you.
Well, Kay is sitting by a pub fire. That's where I'm going to join her, and together we're hoping to find out something about the history of mistletoe.
That's exactly what we associate mistletoe with at Christmas time. With me is Anne Sanford, who's curator of the City Museums in Hereford. Now, Anne, where did kissing under the mistletoe come from?
Well, it goes way back to pagan times, the golden bough of legend. It's certainly very popular as a sort of decorative thing for a bower throughout people's homes, I think. Particularly popular in the Victorian period.
Now, that's not something we'd associate them with, in fact, is it? Kissing and cuddling, perhaps?
Well, I don't think they're as prudish as people make out.
Now, mistletoe is a parasite and it loves growing on apple trees, therefore there must be a lot of it in Herefordshire. Are there any particular traditions associated with mistletoe as a result?
Well, indeed, yes. The berries, for example, those were ground up and kept in the house so that you'd have an antidote for poison. In fact, it was known as heal-all. And you'd have a piece of it in your farmhouse. You'd keep that all year round and change it on New Year's morning.
Ah, yes, Alan. Well, why do we bring it in at Christmas time then?
Well, it's the season when it's there's only evergreens around, so mistletoe, ivy and holly are your signs that life is continuing.
Fascinating. Can I just pop in? Hello, Anne. Fascinating stuff, but I'll tell you what interests me, the fact that throughout Christianity, as far as I'm aware, mistletoe has been used, as you said, for this business of kissing and cuddling, and yet there hasn't been a Christian church in history that's allowed mistletoe over its threshold, has there?
Well, there certainly is one, and that's York Minster, where a great bough of mistletoe was laid on the altar for the 12 days of Christmas. And at that time, peace and pardon was declared throughout the city.
But that no longer happens?
Not as far as I know.
Well, how did the holly and the ivy get a look in then?
Well, the holly and ivy became Christianized because the various things like the blood of Christ was represented by the berries, and the ivy, the Virgin Mary.
What should you do with the greenery at the end of Christmas?
You've got to be very careful about that. Don't throw it madly out of the house, otherwise you're throwing the luck of the house with you. And also, you must be very careful to see that it's completely dead. Burn it if it's dead, but if not, lay it gingerly on the compost heap. Let it rot quietly.
Good advice to all, Anne. Thank you very much indeed, and I know we're going to see you a little later on. But right now, we're going over to the Parish Church of All Saints to hear the choir sing Ding Dong Merrily on High.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily the sky is in with angels singing.
That surely is the sound of Christmas, the choir of All Saints Parish Church, right in the heart of Hereford. Now, the vicar in charge here is Father Hugh Broad. A very busy Christmas season ahead for you, as I understand.
That's right, Alan. Yes, it is very busy. It's just starting, in fact, for us, and we should be going on from here to our other church, which is a new church, in order to do the same sort of thing later on.
And that isn't the end of carol singing, because when Christmas Day has been and gone, your choir will still be singing carols. I don't understand that.
Well, it's really, that is when we start, because the church celebrates the birthday of Christ from Christmas Day onwards, rather than beforehand.
So the tradition of singing carols before Christmas Day is slightly out of step.
It's anticipating Christmas, rather, which of course the commercial world has to do, and we understand that. But we like to think of the birthday of Jesus as being very special, and it starts on Christmas Day.
Well, can I wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Thank you very much, and the same to you all.
Well, I've come to the Peter Pan ward at the Hereford County Hospital to talk to some of the children who are in hospital this Christmas time. Julian, how did you feel when you knew you were going to be in hospital this time of year?
I thought it was going to be boring.
And what's it been like?
Good fun.
Why has it been good fun?
Well, playing all the games, snooker and all that.
What's the food like?
Very nice.
Jonathan's behind you. How did you feel when you knew you were coming in?
I was amazed.
Amazed? And is it better than you thought?
Yes, a lot better.
Are the nurses very strict?
No, not really.
Well, you couldn't say anything else, could you?
No.
Okay. Here is one of the nurses, Staff Nurse Annette Horn. Now, Annette, a lot of people think it's a bit grim for children in hospital at Christmas time, but I suspect you do a few things to liven the life up, don't you?
We certainly do. We hold a very big party for all the children, anybody that's in, because it's miserable being in hospital at Christmas time. They have a stocking each on Christmas Eve. There's carol singers coming round.
Does Father Christmas come?
He certainly does. Santa Claus comes on Christmas morning, brings them all a present.
It's
Sounds
great. Well, sitting next to you is someone with quite a reputation. He's called Robin. He's known as Boring Robin. Why are you boring?
Because I'm just boring.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, why? Everyone says you keep cracking good jokes.
I'm no good at telling jokes.
Well, look, suppose I tell you one. What noise does a cat going down the M1 make?
I don't know.
Meow.
That's rubbish.
Well, Darren's got a joke for us. Come on, Darren.
What's green and hairy and goes up and down?
I don't know what is green and hairy and goes up and down.
Goes green and left.
Oh, great. That's the Christmas spirit. Well, come on, I think we ought to pull a few crackers. We might find some bad jokes in those. Come on, then. Oh! Hang on, there's a joke there. What did we get? Right. If you have a referee in football and boxing, what do you have in bowls?
Soup.
Well done. Oh, you read it.
Down on the farm, they're having a party too, even if the beasts are having to make do with the usual dry old diet. That's why we chipped in with party hats and tinsel to help the seasonal victuals go down. Not that we need have bothered. Show Hereford a pile of hay and it'll soon disappear as if by magic. The one thing missing to make it all complete, though, was a Christmas drink. But then we didn't want to make the bull doze. Over to you, Kay.
It would be difficult to come to Hereford and not think of cider. And cider means Bulmers. They're the largest cider makers in the world. They also own the railway centre here in Hereford. And right now I'm standing in Aquila, which is a Pullman car that was actually used by the Queen and the royal family during the 50s and 60s. Now with me is Bulmer's home economist, Rita Farnborough, and she's going to show us some delicious ways of using cider, and there might be a few Christmas tips. Right, Rita, what are we going to start with?
Well, I think a good place to start would be with the stuffing. And whether you have a packet stuffing or homemade, put sweet cider in and you get a lovely appley flavour and nice and moist. If you've got a packet of stuffing which says add water, put the cider in instead. Now, the gammon, a glazed gammon, which was actually boiled in sweet cider so that it absorbed all the flavour. And then I've glazed it with a little honey and some of the liquor from the boiling. And that's given it a lovely glaze on there. The duck, a little bit different. It's got cider and orange sauce rather than just your usual orange sauce, using half a pint of sweet cider, some orange juice and rind of the orange, finely grated, a little corn flour if you want to thicken it, and also some sugar. If you've got some mincemeat at home that's a little bit stiff, it's gone sort of dry, then add the mincemeat to it, it'll bring the consistency back. Also, if you're making your own mincemeat at home, then add some sweet cider to it and you get a nice moist consistency. The puddings, this is a rather refreshing pudding, very simple to make. It's just slices of apple and slices of pear which have been soaked in sweet cider. Now the trifle, which is rather splendid, this has got the cake base which I've soaked in cider, sweet cider with brandy in it, and that makes it a lot different and rather special.
Lovely, that's changed from sherry. And we need something to drink, of course.
Well, here I've got a hot punch and an icy cold one. You either drink cider hot or you drink it cold. And this one is a hot punch using dry cider with orange juice, orange rind, a few cloves to give it a nice spicy flavour, some brown sugar, and I've heated it up. And then when it's simmering, add a little orange liqueur to it.
Lovely, but there's a nice cold one over here.
Yes, this is a nice icy cold one. Now this, you must put your cider in the fridge, preferably overnight. Have it nice and cold. And I've used the sweet cider for this one. 2 bottles in there with some gin and vermouth. And you mix that all together, put your fruit slices on the top, and then I'm going to add some sugar to it to give it a sparkle. And this is actually called Christmas Sparkle, and that will fizz in there. And you're going to have a taste
I'd
of this
love
one.
to have some, yes. Looks delicious.
There you
Looks gorgeous.
go.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, Alan, I bet you're sorry you missed out on this one. Cheers.
Okay, cheers, Kay. You know, one of the things I always enjoy about coming to the city of Hereford is that, almost without exception, they're very friendly people. And as you can hear at this time of the year, they drum up quite a party spirit. Let's go and make a few friends. Well, I've been spotting a few of my little friends here on the roundabout. And with permission from Mum, I'm going to invite this young man to come across to meet Santa Claus. Now, your mum said OK. What's your name?
Philip.
Philip, I'm going to meet Santa Claus. Come on. And we'll join another little friend on the way. Hello, Mum. Are you coming to meet Santa Claus?
Hello, Philip. What do you want for Christmas?
Please, may I have a Monopoly?
You want a Monopoly set?
Yes, please.
And what would you like for Christmas?
A BMX bike, a Dukes of Hazzard set.
I'm sure Santa Claus will be good to you all, and you'll get yours as well. Santa, a very happy Christmas to you.
Happy Christmas to you as well, Alan. Thank you very much.
She shall have music wherever she goes, and that's where Kay's gone.
And the music you can hear comes from this lovely fairground organ, which is owned and operated by Jeff Bache. Well, Jeff, what will you be doing around Christmas?
Well, I'll be back here at Hightown, Hereford, all day Saturday, collecting money for the round table. I've been down to Swansea and Cardiff for the PDSA this year, in Hereford for Frida Pierce, Leominster for the mentally handicapped.
So a lot of charity work.
A lot of charity
Well,
work.
a very happy Christmas to you. Just behind this fairground organ, in fact, is one of Hereford's most famous buildings, the Old House. And I think you'll find Alan there with some of the children.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our 17th century old house, where we're going to have some splendid festivities. First of all, though, I want to introduce myself. I'm the Lady Anne, and this is Sir Martin. There we are. Now, we're going to make pomanders. These were used for scenting chests and chest on chest, the cupboards that we've got round in the old house, and they were used for making your clothes smell sweet. You put cloves into an orange like this. You can all have a go and start making them if you like now. We've got plenty of cloves and oranges, and you can thread them with ribbon and hang them up in the chest, and they begin to go very, very dark and dry out, and all the time the clothes are beautifully fresh and sweet smelling. Now, also in Hereford, there's lots of other traditions for New Year and Christmas, and one of the most interesting is the cream of the well on New Year's morning. We've got lots of young ladies here with beautiful clear skins. Well, in the 17th century, you go down to this well at just after midnight on New Year's morning, and you get a pitcher of water. So the cream of the well would be brought home for the lady to wash her face in, and she'd be given sixpence. And so there she'd be beautiful for the whole year.
Come on, kids, tuck in.
Yes, do. There's some
Well, as they do, before they devour it, would you describe for us what this table of 300 years ago contained?
Well, this is a sort of spread for tea, and we've got nutmeg and cherry cake. We've got small little heart-shaped pies, very like our mince pies, which are very, very sweet. And we've got some spice cake with cherries as well. So that is well worth trying, I think.
Thank you very much indeed, Anne. I've learned a great deal about Christmas 300 years ago, and I'm sure the children have too. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas!
Ken Farr and the Hereford Band of the Salvation Army giving us Angels from the Realms of Glory, a beautiful sound. Now, we're here in Hightown, and your workload yet hasn't finished in this part of the city.
No, we're here again Saturday afternoon and Christmas Eve, and then Christmas morning we're going out again, playing around the hospitals and the old folks' homes.
So it's a full work schedule, although I suspect you don't actually regard it as work, do you?
Oh,
Ken?
no, not carol playing, no.
Well, I know you've got something else for us now, Once in World David City. Could there be a more seasonal sound once in Royal David City? But now it's time for us to catch up on the weather details. Kay's somewhere around with a weather script tucked underneath her arm.
Tonight it'll remain rather cold. Temperatures will drop to near freezing, leading to a slight frost and some icy patches on roads, so do watch out if you're driving tonight. But here's some good news. Tomorrow will be fine and sunny, with most places staying dry. Will be a bit chilly though, with a light to moderate westerly breeze and temperatures no higher than 6 degrees.
Thank you very much indeed, Kay. Well, that, I'm afraid, is the end of our visit to Hereford, and as I said at the beginning, the people of this town are without doubt always the most friendly of people, and that's proved so this time. I was just making the point, Kay, we had a marvellous welcome here in Hereford.
We certainly have, and our thanks to everybody who's helped us to make this programme, including the good members of the public who've been plying us with mints to keep us warm.
You've got the mince monopoly round here, have you?
I have.
I'll talk to you about that a little later on.
Well, we'll be back again tomorrow with our final programme before Christmas.
But we'll leave you tonight with the choir of All Saints Church in Hereford and the carol, What Child Is This?, sung to the tune of Greensleeves. But in the meantime, from us all, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Drew large crowds. The Prince and Princess were there to see the cathedral, which has launched a £1 million appeal for its restoration. And later they gave the crowds exactly what they'd come for, the now traditional walkabout. Geoffrey Green was there too.
The bells of Hereford Cathedral rang out in greeting as the royal couple arrived outside the north door of the cathedral. The princess had chosen to wear an outfit in the fashionable electric blue colour. Spring flowers were available in profusion. 1,800 invited guests were seated inside the building for an appeal inauguration service, relayed to the less privileged of us through loudspeakers in the cathedral grounds. A Welsh-born dean to explain it all. A touch of irony here, Welsh invaders helped destroy the very first Hereford Cathedral. The crumbling stonework today was immediately visible to the royal visitors. The prince was to read the second lesson, a passage from the first book of Corinthians. According to the commission of God given to me, like a skilled master builder, I laid a foundation, and another man is building upon it. Immediately after the service, a closer look at the damage. Part of the building sheathed in scaffolding, a necessary precaution for this cathedral, which knew awful destruction in the 18th century when, after centuries of neglect, the west tower collapsed and demolished part of the nave. Their ecclesiastical duty fulfilled, the royal couple were off to the heart of the city, first to the town hall, where some of the townsfolk had been waiting for more than 3 hours. Their wait was rewarded. There are times when one feels that the princess has shaken every single outstretched hand. The prince on one side of the square, the princess on the other. Every foot of window space was packed with people anxious to see the visitors. And those policewomen in attendance? Flower carriers, inevitably. How long before the royal limousine has to be fitted with a trailer to carry them all home?
Was feeling on top of the world today. He'd just ended 20 years of city centre dereliction by officially opening the £20 million Maylord Orchards shopping precinct on the site of a long-neglected piece of undeveloped land. The new pedestrianised shopping centre comprises a branch of a well-known clothing chain and 36 other shopping units over an underground car park for 250 vehicles. Centrepiece of the development is a glass-covered atrium with food court and coffee terrace. Ivan Dillon, president of Hereford Chamber of Commerce, welcomed the new shopping facilities.
It's going to give the public a much wider choice, much greater variety and depth of shopping. And remember too that we serve a very wide catchment area, not only the city of Hereford itself, but catchment area extends to 40 and 50 miles into Wales, and I think it will reinforce Hereford as a shopping centre for the whole of the area and allow us to compete with our sort of neighbouring towns and cities.
Maylord Orchards was developed by Norwich Union, whose assistant estates manager is Richard Wright.
We felt it was a place of enormous potential. From our researches, we found there were many national retailers who wanted to come to the town and found that they couldn't satisfy their requirements here. The shops weren't the right size, weren't in the right position, and we've provided in this tremendous scheme here today exactly what they're looking for.
There is a snag, though. The Maylord car park has a 3-hour limit.
We want them to stay around and do shopping, but we think that they can probably do all their shopping within that 3-hour period. And what we're seeking to do, because 250 is not a lot of cars, we're seeking to get a turnover and use the car park as efficiently as we can. It's what we call a shopper's car park, and we hope it operates that way.
But really, it comes down to you can do your shopping here provided you don't stay more than 3 hours.
If you want to leave your car in the middle of town, yes.
On a visit to Hereford. As well as touring Bulmers, they went on a walkabout and visited a school for the blind.
A fanfare of whistles from the steam engines Princess Elizabeth and King George V greeted the Queen and Prince Philip when they arrived at the Bulmers railhead. And from hundreds of school children, the kind of reception that only a royal reprieve from the classroom can give. A more restrained reception party was presented by the Lord Lieutenant of the county, Captain Thomas Dunn. They were headed by Esmond Bulmer, chairman of the company, whose grandfather Percy started making cider from apples in the Cleveland orchard at Credden Hill, where his father was village parson. Percy's brother Fred joined him in the business, and so passed up the chance of a royal presentation of his own, because it meant turning down the offer of a job as tutor to the children of the King of Siam.
Your Majesty, present Your Majesty.
In a warehouse gallery, the Queen was presented with a leather-bound volume of Pomona, a Bulmer's publication with specially commissioned watercolour illustrations which describes the leading cider apple varieties of the past 100 years. And it was there that she unveiled a commemorative plaque. The royal party then went into the bottling hall, where more than 1,000 Bulmer's employees and their families were waiting. Normally, this department handles 120,000 clinking, jangling gallons of cider and soft drinks each day. Today's visit to Bulmer's cider mill was Prince Philip's second, and he was obviously thoroughly enjoying the return visit. Alongside the latest scientific and technological developments in cider making, one of the techniques that's as old as the business itself. And a special word from the Queen for Master Cooper Ray Cottrell. Mr. Cottrell was Bulmer's last apprentice cooper, and the barrel he showed the Queen was made from an oak which grew on the royal estate at Windsor. Before leaving the production area, the Queen and Prince Philip met 2 other members of the Bulmer family. From 85-year-old Bertram Bulmer, former chairman of the company, the Queen received a bottle of King Offa cider brandy, specially distilled in the cider museum created by Mr. Bulmer. And from 10-year-old Hannah Bulmer, a posy of flowers. The Queen and Prince Philip made a courtesy call on the Mayor, Councillor George Bew, at the Town Hall. It was the Queen's first official visit to Hereford since she distributed Maundy money at the Cathedral 11 years ago. So there was something of a carnival atmosphere, accentuated by the Christmas decorations when she and Prince Philip set off for a city centre walkabout.